Good afternoon, everybody. I am Judah Bernard of the Rise Creating Your Voice podcast. I am privileged and honored to have our special guest for today, which is the whole season is about defining you and actually knowing who you are during this pandemic and actually just seeing where you float at in your spectrum and how you need to change and how you need to rise. So our season 1 episode 9 is about accountability and responsibility. What does that mean? What does accountability and responsibility mean to you? So I'm here to introduce our special guest is Dr. Arlana Sims of Sims Consulting of North Carolina. So let's give her a round of applause.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for letting me be here.
Tell us about Sims Consulting, if you don't mind.
Okay, so Sims Consulting and Clinical Services is an outpatient mental health agency in North Carolina, and we service about 7 counties, providing mental health and substance abuse services. Actually, we do all 3 disability groups: mental health, substance abuse, and developmental disabilities. And so we service individuals from the age of 3 up until geriatric.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? And what type of services that you provide to as well?
Just mental health. Is that what?
Okay, mental health services.
Yes,
and do you believe
services.
that?
Go ahead.
Do you believe that the mental health services is a stigma in the environment we live in right now, or mental health being that people kind of like shy away from it?
I think yes and no. I do think that there has been an increase in individuals seeking mental health services because of the pandemic. I have seen a significant rise in anxiety and depression, especially among people who are single, because with the isolation, having a really hard time trying to figure out how to use this to their benefit. And so it's very isolating, especially if you are single. So yes, I would say yes, but on the other hand, I would say no, is that there still tends to be a stigma against mental health. And I'm also a life coach, and I have found that people feel a little bit more comfortable going to a life coach because the stigma's not associated with that.
And I understand that because I think what people want to do is align themselves with some type of ability to get out whatever funk they may be in. And when I describe a funk, I'm saying the issue that rises at hand where I don't know how to move from, if you're here, I don't know how to move from here to here. So they need steps and processes in place to build on that. And that's one thing that I want people to understand about with accountability and responsibility is being accountable for how you feel. Yes. Then next, being responsible in how you feel to make sure that when you getting your responsibility in place after you get the accountability and putting that responsibility in place that you don't make any negative behaviors in being responsible.
Exactly.
So we have to understand that the number one thing is you have accountability, which I myself look at as being accepting and acknowledging. And then I put the responsible piece in it is check it, catch it, change it.
Okay.
Meaning that, okay, I understand that I'm responsible for my feeling. Is my feeling going to decrease how I do things, or is my feeling going to decrease on what's the next step I make and things like that? So in my catch it, check it, change it, I'm actually catching it saying, oh, okay, my feelings are valid. But then again, I don't have to think that way and keep thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I check it and say, okay, is it for real? Is it reality? Or is it all in my mind? Then I change it to something where I don't have to benefit in that thought or that feeling too as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the accountability and responsibility that I want people to inspire themselves and employ them. But I understand that in that, I want to know more about life coaching too, especially for our listeners too out here as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, let me start by saying I have two favorite statements, and it piggybacks on what you've already said. So, what we want to do is we want to move from being a victim
Mm-hmm.
of ourselves to a victor of our life.
Yes. Yes.
And so, I think that is one of those big catch-all statements that we want to look at. And then the other thing, as we go through this process of being accountable and responsible, we want to see ourselves in the future. And so once
Yes.
we see ourselves in the future, we can no longer see ourselves the same as we are now. And so I think those two is how we kind of get there. So Jeremy, I got a question for you. Are you
Mm-hmm.
ready to take a stride down? Let's put some of this in practice. I have a 17-point comprehensive plan on
Okay.
how to get us to that goal, to what we're looking at. Are you willing to play along?
Yes, I'm willing to play along. Judah is ready for anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what my 17 points are, and then we'll just go together. Okay,
Okay.
well, I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll kind of get you to play along with me. So first of all, a lot of people don't think about setting a mission statement for your life.
Mm.
Okay, so we need to start with a mission statement. What is that for you? So for me, for example, mine is I want to thrive and not survive.
Mm.
That's my personal mission statement. So you want to have that. You want to identify what it is that you want to accomplish.
Uh-huh.
You want to identify what results you're looking for, what do you want, and what outcome would be ideal for you. You want to set an intention. That's where we make a lot of mistakes. We don't set intentions for
Mm-hmm.
what it is that we want. Our goals need to be specific, measurable, realistic, and timely.
Yes.
This is going to come real good, considering everybody likes to do those New Year resolutions that nobody follows through with after January 31st. Somehow
I'm guilty.
We all are. We all are. But I think part of that is that when we set our goals, we don't really say what it is that we really want.
Exactly.
Does that make sense? So so I could say I want to lose 20 pounds in 2021, but with health issues, medication,
right,
life circumstances, that it probably isn't going to happen. And genetics, my genetics made is not going to allow that. So what is the true intention? Do I want to be healthy, or do I want to lose 20 pounds? So that's two different things. So you really need to identify what it is that you want. Okay, then you also want to be prepare what you need to get your goals. You need to share it with someone. Mm-hmm. You need to identify those challenges that you're going to come up with. You always have to have a plan B, because nothing ever works the way that you want it. You want to write everything down. You want to share it with someone. There are even apps to track, your goals or your status. So you can do a vision board, you can journal, or you can use some of the apps that are out there. You want to create micro goals and look for daily victories. We need to reward ourselves.
Yes.
We need to reward ourselves, but we don't do that. We don't do that. We want to seek feedback, and we want to reward our accomplishments. So what it is that you want is what I call an accountability partner.
Yes.
You need to find one. So those are my 17 points on how do we start that process of going to the goals. And then when we end, I want to show you how do you hold yourself accountable. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. So what is Jeremy's mission?
Judah's mission.
Okay.
Yes. Judah's mission is being an humble servant.
Okay. And
attaining peace throughout life by any means necessary.
Okay, I like that. So what is it that you want to accomplish?
One thing that I want to accomplish is ensuring that Judah takes total control of his actions, and also what he is putting out into the earth as far as peace, loving, and accountability for mankind and humankind.
Okay, I like that. That's your ideal. I hear it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so your intention.
My intention is to educate on love, to motivate on being human and to end most of the division that we have in this world. That's my intent.
Okay. And what goals do you have? And so we want them to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
My first goal is, number one, is to start this podcast, which this podcast has been in 3 months. We're on now season episode 9. And the previous episodes build up to what we're building on, to what this podcast is about. And we talk about education and motivation in many varied forms of communication on various subject matters. So it's not only talking about mental health, it's talking about self-development. We might go into a whole different things about education. So it's a varied subject matters that people need to come together and looking at the alignment of Earth. Not themselves, but the alignment of Earth of how they fit into this perspective. So that measurable goal is actually looking into the whole process of healing this land that we're in together.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't do that. They only think about themselves. I want you to think about yourself first of all, because like I talked about to a person earlier, was hurt people hurt people. So me as a therapist, I had to leave therapy because I was hurt and I was not providing the possible thing. I was providing them the textbook knowledge I had. I wasn't providing them the passion. So what I had to do was remove myself to heal.
Okay.
And in that healing, it brought me to where I am now. And that's the thing is, I had to know what I am for myself and how I can help people, not outside of the whole totality of me being Judah, but the totality of me being a healed Judah.
Okay.
And that's what and what I don't strive for is, I don't measure what I'm doing by money. I measure it by people coming on board and actually joining in to heal the land, building tribes, building successful tribes,
Okay.
building good communities.
I'm gonna challenge you just a little bit more, Jeremy. I want you to be very specific. If you wanted to build a tribe, your first phase, for example,
Yes.
is it to build 500 new people that prescribers at 1,000? So I even want you. Your ideas are great, but I want you to make it even more specific.
Okay. And here we go. We're going more specific.
Yes.
Starting off, I said I wanted to, God ordained this. So God and me had conversation where I stated to him that I want to be an international public speaker. And this podcast will give me the evidence.
Okay.
Right now I have over 2,000 downloads. And I've only been doing this for 3 months.
That's awesome.
That was my specific goal.
Okay.
In that, I said I want to produce episodes that were meaningful to the mass. I'm doing that. In that, I said I want to build a website so it can mirror what I'm doing here on the podcast. That was achievable. All of this has been done. I'm on the second half of my measurable goals, is attaining more people, getting the word out, asking people that are already here to share, people to say, hey, go out and tell someone else. Who don't like sharing good news? I know I do. So if it's not good news, tell me so I can, I can work around it and make sure that it can be achievable to all to listen and actually be aware of what this message is about. So I'm still fine-tuning that piece because I don't know if people just really like listening to me and they don't want to comment, or what's the next phase of this? Am I reaching them and they like it? Because the numbers are still coming, but then I don't get the comments or the shares. So maybe they are sharing and maybe they don't want to comment, because I think for me, reality is truth hurts. And I'm speaking truth and I'm being transparent with my truth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm still
as we
dealing
go to
with that.
phase 2, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna check on you because I'm your accountability partner.
Yes. Okay. I love it.
In 30 days, I'm coming back. So we still want you to get more specific, because I tell you, if we're not extremely very specific. It's hard to measure where we are. So I'm still going to help you fine tune that as your accountability partner.
Okay.
Your
You
phase
can do
2.
that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so then what do we need? So that's the next thing. What do you need to take this? Are there any other resources, avenues that you need to kind of take you to phase 2?
What we need, phase 2 is TBN to call me, the broadcast network, some general social media that do not want to take my idea and coin it for themselves, but leave my idea where it is. And it's free of charge. I don't want to get paid for it. I just want the message to get out because this is something that is ordained by God.
Okay.
So this is not for me to get money. This is for me to get the word out. This is a message from God that needs to be delivered. That's all. That's what I need. I need a social, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a social network, whether it's TV, it's a broadcast station that is really listening to me and actually honing in on the topics and the subject matters. That's what I need.
Okay, awesome. How many people are live with us now? Do you have a number?
12 right now.
All right, so you have 12 people that you have shared this with. So that's so they're your accountability partner too.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So KJ Myers, Gina, and whoever else, all you guys on there, you guys are my accountability partners now.
Yes. Okay. All right. So what challenges do you see? We always have to plan for challenges. So many times the reason why we are not successful in our goals is because we don't adequately prepare for those challenges, if that makes sense. So what challenges do you see and so that you can have a plan on how you're going to overcome them?
And my challenges that I see that what if that I don't receive the necessary comments to move forward or the necessary constructive feedback. Those are my challenges. And like I said, I give the information, but I would like to have the constructive feedback to make sure that I'm tuning in on the needs of the people and not just things that I'm talking about all the time. Some challenges that I'm having is it's not people to come on the show, it's people to really, really take heed to the message sometimes. Some of the other challenges that I'm personally having is getting more people to do what I'm doing here right now. Is saying that, yes, I want co-hosts. I already have two that's coming on in the new year, but I want more co-hosts so people can actually feel and get on top of this new whole order that we need to realize that this is something new that everybody's afraid of, but we all need it, and that's accountability and responsibility.
Awesome. Okay, what's plan B?
Plan B is keep doing what I'm doing and just go with the flow. And definitely my plan B is start building out surveys and getting. Say that again.
No, I'm nodding. Yes, I like.
Okay. Building out surveys and things like that, so I can start assessing the next levels and next steps and getting feedback too as well.
Okay. Now your goal for me as your accountability partners, we need to write it down. So all this that we're talking about, we need to write it down. And I want you to screenshot it to me, email it, because as your accountability partner, I need to be able to hold you accountable for where you are in your steps. So write everything down and then share that with someone. That's always, in order for you to be held accountable, you have to share it because people have to hold you accountable for it. Okay. So that's
you said visually accountable. So let's get that to our listeners. It has to be visually.
Visually, yes. All right. And then the other thing is that you need to figure out how you're going to track your success. You know, are you going to use an app? Are you going to use a journal? Are you going to use a vision board? But you have to have some way to track your process. And then the other thing is that those small victories that we have, we need to also acknowledge those and reward ourselves for those small victories. So I call them creating macro goals. You know, and then so that we can, so if I want 2,000 new subscribers in 60 days, let's just say, and maybe I this week I added 10 more
Mhm.
subscribers. Does that make sense? So that's still a
Yes.
victory, and that's still a part of your goal. And then the other part of it is that you want to seek feedback, like get people to give you honest feedback. And that's again that part of that, tell someone so they can follow up with you, and you can say, okay, am I doing this? What would you do differently? So you want to seek feedback. And then the last thing is I want you to reward your accomplishment when you do a good job, or when you meet, even if you meet those macro goals or the macro goal, you want to make sure that you reward your accomplishment. And how would you do that, Judah?
What I do is because I'm in what they call um Podbean, which is an app. So they actually document all of my actual goals and my achievements and things like that. So that's when I know. Well, I actually look at it too as well. So most of the apps and things that I use, as far as the podcast, they already document the things that I need to do. So when I see it, like yesterday, I know that I obtained a goal. Guess what I did? I went and got a reflexology massage. I went and got the chiropractor, and he cracked my little neck, and it was good. And also, I went and got a mani pedi, because the thing is, those are some things that we don't do, is do self compassion and self relaxation. And the thing is, my whole day was being peaceful for me, and that's gaining peace back into myself because I've done the work to get that
Mm-hmm.
peace back.
Yes, I love it. So you just did my plan. That's how you set goals, and it's so much easier as we're sitting here talking about it. You can put it all out there, and you can kind of think about it. But again, write it down. It means nothing if it's written down, if it's not
Right.
written down, because you got to have a way to track your progress. And that's where we make that mistake, especially New Year's. Everybody's going to have a New Year's resolution. I hate those things, by the
Right.
way. I just like, hey, what goal? What is my intention for 2021 versus
Right.
saying I have a New Year's resolution? Change those wording. What is my intention for 2021?
Right. And that's the thing. Like for me, um, this podcast that was in manifestation for about 3 years. So it was already written, and everything that needed to be done was pretty much written. And that's how this actually came to peace. And I actually started it up and everything within 30 days.
Okay, awesome.
So
Great.
it was, this was what it was, and I was looking like, wow. And I had that plan in that process, but in that process too, I had to stop for the first moment, and I had to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people don't do. They don't heal. They just go out to something. They
Yeah.
they just jump. Sometimes you don't need to jump, because the thing is, we are fear of failure. So if this failed right now, I'm healed. I won't jump back, but I'll go back and investigate and see why I failed. I won't
Mm-hmm.
go back into a deep side really, oh, here's another thing I done and just failed. I won't do that. I've healed from that. Now I have to move forward and just making this the great podcast that it's going to be. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I want to inspire people is heal first.
Mm-hmm.
Surrender yourself and heal first. What are you saying, Judah? Sometimes we hold on to so much traumatic pain from our childhood, from the beginning of when we were born up until college, high school, all of that stuff. It get balled up into one big old thing like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's held right here in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep saying in your mind is, I'm going to leave it alone, but you really don't do.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps going and going and going, and you keep holding. And I talked about forgiveness on a Bible study the other day. And the thing is, to forgive me is debt cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like.
most people don't know how to forgive themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to start being accountable and responsible and forgiving yourself. Let's start off first by doing that. Forgive yourself for those things that you could not do. Forgive yourselves for the things that you wanted to do that you have no inspired. Forgive yourself for hating on your sister for achieving something more than you. Forgive yourself for everything that you feel like you dislike, because I don't like the word hate, or you have some type of funny feeling about, or you rah, 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 or whatever, however you may feel about it, forgive yourself so you can heal. Stop competing with people. It's no competition. Your competition is with yourself.
It is, and you got to have. I like you used the word compassion. You have to have compassion for yourself, and as you go through this journey, a lot of times I don't know why, but if there's a mountain, we think that we're supposed to be like Mario and just jump over the mountain. But what we got to do, you have to sit in your issue, and you gotta plow through the mountain. That's where healing comes from. It's the plow through. It's not gonna jump over and life is good. It's like a pill, an antidepressant pill is not a happy pill. It's not a light switch that you can turn it on. You got to do the work. You have to do the work.
Yes.
And even you're talking about it reminds me of generational trauma that we pass down from generation to generation. And we really got to stop that cycle. We really got to stop it.
And that's one thing that, being that, my calling and things like that is to heal generational curses. Let's discuss it. Let's have dialogue about what's hurting, what's in that past that has affected this whole bloodline. Whether it's an excuse the expression for the kids that are watching, whether it's rape, whether it's abortion, whether it's infidelity, whether it was just different things that are just holding us so far back that no one talked about. And now we're in our process of feelings and our thoughts. And our thoughts is, why mama didn't get that person off of me? Our thoughts is, I'm still that little girl inside our heart, but why she treated me different? So, and the whole gamut of it is, we all can heal from that. Heal from the bullying that you had in high school. We didn't look our best in high school or elementary school. Yes, people bullied us. But like I tell people, look what I turned out to be. I'm feeling good about myself. But at the end of the day, it's still no competition. But I have to find that confidence within me. No bully, no paper, no apostle, no pastor could put that inside of me.
Right.
I have to place that inside myself. No counselor can put that in there. They can give you the tools and resources to help you put it in there, but you have to plant that inside yourself first.
Right. Exactly.
It's sort of like a seed that you till up the garden, and I had to do some tilling of myself. Things that were not pleasant to me to put in my garden. So I had to till up those weeds. I had to till up I had to till up the past. I had to till up that. I had to, get some with that Roundup where you spray on there and the little weed eater and all that stuff and
that's
make it die.
Now.
you have to do that. You really have to do that. And that's where I'm in my place right now. It's peace. That I don't owe anybody anything. I don't have to serve man anymore.
Exactly.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And that's what it's about, because we were born into this earth, the power and money. It was always, you have to work. You always have to be on top of everybody else. You got to go further. You got to go further. And some people, that's a traumatic event for them, because guess what? They tried, but they failed. Then guess what it goes back to? It goes back to that parent that kept pushing them, because now it's like, I told you so. You should have did what I said. Now I'm hurt by you because I hurt you because I failed. We got to change the paradigm. Still celebrate their small wins wherever that child is, or wherever that now adult is. Celebrate their small wins. Everybody can't be a track star. Everybody can't be a singer. Everybody can't be a model. That's why we're all different. That's why we're in many shapes, many forms, different things that we can encompass, still loving each other no matter how we feel. So what that accountability and that responsibility is, my accountability is to you is to be your friend, Dr. Arlana. My accountability to you is, hey, tell me about your problems and maybe we can sort them together.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I'm not here to say, go back and say, oh, well, after you tell me your problem, oh, well, let me tell you what Arlana told me and I'm telling my other friend. That's not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But we do that.
Just,
And we gossip and we just things that are not Christ-like. So we have to be mindful of the uh, the tongue of the double-edged sword. Because just like if I would go back and talk about you to somebody else, guess what? That's three people going back and telling their friends about me.
mm-hmm. You're right.
So be mindful. It's a double-edged sword. We have to remember and be very mindful of, if we want to contribute to healing this land, we got to be accountable and responsible. Number one, for ourselves. And if you have children, you got to be accountable for your children. What does that look like for you? You know, what does that look like going forward or moving forward toward progressing?
Amen, brother.
And that's the new Judah.
Amen, brother.
And it's not difficult for me because I had to lay down for a minute and just retract myself from the world.
Mm-hmm. Rebirthing.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like you just regurgitate and you become a new creature. And that's what I am now. A whole new creature. That I don't settle for the okie doke anymore. You can't tell me and I listen with those worldly eyes and ears. I'm not of this world, so therefore I have to listen with brand new eyes and brand new ears so I can actually listen, and not only listen, but observe the manner in which you're saying. And also don't be in a perceptive state, because perception is what kills us all very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It kills us. People's perception. I want them to delete that out the dictionary, because perception is just what you feel. It's subjective. It's not objective. It's subjective to whoever who's perceiving.
Mm-hmm.
And it can cause people pain. I know.
Look, I'm like, what am I supposed to say to that? I'm like, yes, preach.
It happens. It happens. And I want people to understand is, you do not have to be caught up in situations. You do not have to be attributed to things that people want to invoke on you. Because people will employ their anger on you. People will dig so deep and understand you, and then they will turn that against you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how this world works. We should be loving. Jesus' last commandment before he left here was to love one another as I have loved you.
Yeah.
What does love look like to us? Some of us don't even know what love means.
Yeah.
We want to feel love, but we don't know what love means. That's deep. And
Mm-hmm.
what does feeling love mean? Do people actually know what feeling love means? Because I've had, Dr. Lana, I was a therapist too. Because I used to work for Dr. Lana, for those who want to know our background and history and why she got my last name. Guess what? No, she's not my wife. She is one of my best, greatest friends that I've had, oh my gosh, what, 10 to 12 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And we just tap into each other. We've been over each other's house. We're both therapists, so we laugh and giggle at ourselves sometimes because basically we know how therapists are.
We need more help than more help sometimes than the people that we serve.
Yes, we do. I had to remove myself from that because trust me, I was not healed at all. I was going through the motions. And I didn't want to feel like that because I know I had more to offer.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is, I want people to really realize what, number one, love is, and appreciation for our world and our earth that we live on.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you contribute as a divine driven purpose of the things you're supposed to be doing on this earth? Not things that you think you're supposed to be doing, but God's will of what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just holding yourself accountable and responsible. So accountability to me means off the bat is this is who I'm accountable for. I don't have any children. Um, I'm single. This is my accountability for right now.
Mhm.
I have a house. So that's my accountability is being responsible and paying my bills on time. Being accountable for the things that I have that's under my purview, just me. Being
Mhm.
accountable for going to work, being accountable for definitely giving you guys successful podcasts. That's a good accountability. Being responsible and trying to deliver them to you on every Sunday. Being responsible and living and making sure that I am contributing to growth inside of people right now. So that's part of my responsibility too, as well. So hopefully, this whole premise of season 1, episode 9, really gets you to think about how you look at accountability and responsibility.
Mhm.
As Dr. Sims already stated, Dr. Arlana Sims, yes, she does have my last name. Let's repeat that again. We're not married. She's a beautiful young lady, but we're not married. She actually married someone else with the last name of Sims. But
And I got rid of him.
yes, she did. We're not even gonna talk about that because I was all up in that divorce with her, and it was yeah,
Look,
but it
they
was a
go
good thing.
accountability, right? Taking ownership
It's
of my own
accountability.
emotion and my own happiness.
Yes, yes. So and I was part of her healing too in that because I had to be there for her. She's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
That was my friend. I mean, like I tell all my friends, I'll be there with you. If you do right, I'll be there with you. But you do wrong, I'm gonna tell you about it. I'm just gonna mention the Grey Wolf Lodge, and that's it. It was a good party. It was a
Oh,
great
Lord have mercy.
party.
I'm so glad for deliverance.
Yeah, I gotta wave my hand on that. Anything else? How can they find you? I know we talked a lot. I talked a lot, and I can just talk on because God is so forever, just so real in my life, and I love Him so much. Go ahead.
So, of course, through my agency, it's www.simsconsulting.net, and I've just launched. I am a certified life coach, and so my website is finished. This should be uploaded by the end of the week. Is Life Solutions Virtual Coaching, and so I actually am specializing in helping people make those transitions because we all are constantly going through transitions. So that's
Yes.
where you would find me. Therapy, or if you rather have the life coach approach and don't want the name or the stigma, I'm your girl too.
So that's Dr. Arlana Sims is the person for life coaching and also therapy. If you do not want to go in the mental health spectrum, you also do life coaching for a transition. So I guess so people won't know your business. But one thing I want to tell people about life, and especially if you believe in a higher power and God, if you believe in God, why are you hiding from your mental health? Because He knows. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe in a higher power, still you need to understand that in that universe and that whole spectrum and that whole deity, that you have to have a mental conscience. Because if you have conscience, you're believing the higher power, the higher deity. So you got to have a conscience. You got to have a healthy conscience.
Yes. Yes.
So that's the part I want to put out there. Understand we do give motivational text every Wednesday. And you can text The Rise to 866 452. Oh, I'm sorry. 844-452-4110. I don't know why I got 866 from. And also, we'll be talking with Stephen Grizzly Openlinick on next Sunday, talking about how are you really doing. So
Mm.
we'll be it's a lot going on. I'm so excited. I know you guys hear it in my voice. I'm just excited for what the next plan is and the next new life and transition of my life. I promise you guys, I will be writing my things down and giving it to Dr. Sims as accountability partner. Y'all heard her live on here. There's 2,000 people that are agreeing with you. You're my accountability partner. But she's always been my accountability partner from like day one anyway. So, and I love her for that. Are there any questions about our listeners? Anything? Any comments? So always look under www.therise.live. That is the website. I hope that you guys are looking at the website. It has a whole new face and everything. And no longer have my face on every page. I took that off. I thought it was a little vain. I told my web developer that no, I didn't want that. Let's put a community up there versus me, because this is not about me. This is about building tribes, building communities too as well. I want us also to remember what accountability and responsibility means to you, and understand, like Dr. Sims said, that this is a process. This just don't happen overnight, and you just can't turn on the light switch and pop, you done. It took me some time. It took me some time, but I'm glad where I am, and where I want to continue to be for the rest of my life, because I'm very peaceful and I'm very happy. And if you can't tell, trust me, it's written all over my face. Any parting words you want to give them, Dr. Sims, as we close out?
Let's start with developing your own personal mission statement. That mission statement should be the guiding force for every decision that you have. And you got to live it. You got to figure out what those branches are. I always call it, you got the tree. The way I do it is, I want to thrive and not survive. That's my tree. That's my foundation. And each branch is a different mode, a different direction that I need to go in. And so you need to have that mission statement, and it needs to guide every decision that you want, or every decision that you make, to make sure that you are meeting what you want to meet for yourself.
And Dr. Sims, I have a question.
Uh-oh.
Let's do this. Let's do this. You and I gather together. I get some people. We do a Zoom call and actually give a 30-minute thing on how people can develop their mission statement.
That works.
How about for the new year? And we'll plan this so people can have that, and you can actually just go to www.therise.live and actually say you want to do a mission statement thing. So I know how many people will have, but I'll post this again on Facebook too as well. And we'll just do a live Zoom call, which we won't go on Facebook Live, but we'll do a training with Dr. Arlana Sims being the host, and where we provide you some information about doing your own mission statement, so we can at least start the new year off right.
It works.
Okay. All right. So look, I got them on board. Y'all better hurry up and run over here and let them know what y'all need. But come with an open mind. If you're gonna come to the Zoom call, come with an open mind. Be looking on the Facebook, and be looking on Dr. Sims' Facebook too, because we're gonna announce it, so we can have just the ability to move forward. And what's after this pandemic, and that'll be a part of your mission statement, is moving forward. Whatever that means to you, that process, even if it's just not eating chocolate chip cookies for a month, whatever that is, it's your personalized individual development plan. That's it.
Yep. Awesome.
All right. So as we say, after we leave here and after we go back and go back to our own little places, we pray peace in your life and blessings, but also say, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell your spouse, heck, tell everyone. We'll see you on the next podcast, which will be November 29th, 2020 at 3 p.m. I love you all. Pieces and blessings. Goodbye. Thank you, Dr. Sims. A million faces.